In this video, I'll be getting my first hands-on with one of Apple's biggest Titanics, and we'll be seeing how much of its DNA we can recognize in its far future successor. We're also going to see who sponsored this video, and a lot of that DNA is still in iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and yes, whether we like to admit it or not, Android fans, even Android. Just like I'm still present to tell you about our sponsor. And I'm gonna hope that the final members of the RDNA 3 desktop family don't let me down with any game-breaking bugs that wipe this smile off my face. Wipe, like this Star Wipe to our sponsor. It's not AMD's gift to gamers either, it's just fine. And I guess in times like these, that's refreshing. Just like I'm about to refresh your knowledge about our sponsor. Thanks, Labs team. Meet the Mars UKV-01 Coordinate Input Device. We are gonna have a lot of fun with you. And a lot of fun with our sponsor. An excuse to show off how the lab is going to help us continue to make better videos. Even if now this is a $350 mouse plus however many hundreds of dollars of Labs time, all for something that is so much worse than my G Pro wireless. And so much worse than the Segue to our sponsor. We've got the all-new cable management arches from LTT Store, we've got these sick 3D printed amp holders, and we've got power tools. This is gonna be a lot of fun today. Fun, like this Segue, to our sponsor. Yeah, my neighbors are gonna hate me.
I would be absolutely in love right now if I was them.
You know what else my neighbors would love?
This segue to our sponsor.
The bottom line for now, though, is universal charging is finally here no matter what device you're using or which Segue I do, to our sponsor. I gotta say, considering everything Apple showed off today, it's starting to feel like the grass is looking pretty green inside that walled garden. Green, like this Segue, to our sponsor. So, I think it's high time that I sat down and gave you all the reasons that I think you just might want to consider a foldable, even if you consider it and ultimately do not pull the trigger. But you should pull the trigger on supporting our sponsor. They are expensive. I personally love using folds, but they are not for everyone. So I hope this video helps you make an informed decision, just like how I'm going to inform you about our sponsor. Windows heads and Mac heads alike can wrap their heads around some of Apple's darker year decisions. And let's see if you can wrap your head around this Segue to our sponsor.
There's another browser that is not set up to do that, iCab, which you can try, lttstore.com. I don't know about that.
Okay, too old to support HTTPS. You know what else is getting old? These Segways to my sponsor. How do they compete for speed and distance? Well, the manner they operate in and how well they function might actually surprise you, even if you're not surprised to hear this Segue to our sponsor. Even ESCU, yep, even you should work just fine. And if neither of those suit your fancy, and in fact, you don't even care about extending your cables at all, maybe you'd prefer this message from our sponsor. We owe it to the tech community and Raymond EMC, whose chamber we haven't really used for anything yet, to find out if this stuff is snake oil or if it actually works. Works, like this Segue to our sponsor. This actually works way better than I expected, and it could absolutely be part of your toolbox. Though, with that said, if you're trying to block a signal, a toolbox might do a better job at a much lower price, assuming it's made of metal. Like this Segue to our sponsor! To compare them and find out once and for all, is biggest disc best disc? And what else could Laserdisc do? Can it play this Segue to our sponsor? We might have seen much wider adoption of not only Laserdisc, but perhaps the Genesis as well. Or not, who knows. But you know who knows about Segways? Our sponsor. Why did you create it? And what makes it so flippin' special? I mean, what is the difference between YouTuber merch and just an actual tech product at this point? I don't know. Maybe I can get the answer from our sponsor. Okay, fair enough. But I can think of one thing you don't have an answer for, Mr. Wendell Smarty Pants.
I know. It's our sponsor, right?